Yes, I was just taking time to pin the timer. Am I audible?
Yes.
All right. Good evening, my dear KTM friends, dear Toastmasters, and all the guests. My news is about the life's philosophies. And I say one of the life's most ironical philosophies is the fact that if we started believing and following all the knowledge we gain from the white pages, the books, then all of us would be scholars by age 18 or 21. Lot of our life's gain and learning comes from experience. It is either from your experience or someone else's experience. And it is this experience, the learning, that regulates our attitude towards our life. So, my dear Toastmasters, how many of you agree with my philosophy? Raise your hands. If you partially agree, half raise your hands. So, yes, I see even half hands. I do not mind. Well, where do we get our experience from? I say experience comes from our intention and attitude towards hard work, towards observation of the life, towards learning the minute details, towards growing. I call this as a collectively as experience. And as we grow, I think the learning becomes, the attitude of life becomes a mistaken truth. The more we learn from especially the white pages, we plunge into a rat race. Everybody is in a competition. I want to become the CEO in the next 10 years. Everybody is in a race. We all want to go to the top. But many times we forget the smallest basic truths of life, that you aim at the top, but to remain humble and stay grounded. You may have zillions of goals, but concentrate on the small little social mannerisms and etiquettes. You might have read thousands of books, but have you read the person in front of you? Have you respected him? We all know A plus B is equal to C, but what we want to be is a very big task. It's a very big task. I quote this very small, simple example every time I talk about this, about my breakfast in a South Indian restaurant, where I see a very well dignified man sitting with his wife and children and yelling at the waiter. I know we all must have experienced this, right? We all want to come in posh cars, but we forget to polish our etiquettes, and it is still going on. I'm talking out of my experience. Why? What have you gained? It was embarrassing, all of us present there. What have you gained? Which race have you won? By yelling at a waiter who is picking up your spit.
And that is the job of the waiter. What he is doing is not doing something extraordinary.
Kumar, you stop my speech. Can I yell at you? Whether you have the right, whether you did a right or wrong, don't publicly insult anybody. Maybe he got you a rotten dosa, but don't shout at him publicly. Some children are sitting in the restaurant and watching. So, what will they learn? To take him away, talk to him, or go to the kitchen and then shout at him. What is this you're doing? So, there is a way to do everything. You are also right. There may be times, maybe we have to also talk straightforward on the face sometimes. But how we do? What if he retaliates? What if he takes it negatively? Why not be nice? do it in the best way. I don't know, are you satisfied with your answer, with my answer? Toastmaster Kumaraswamy. So let me try to put it this way.
Sushma, is it not that if somebody is, serving you wrong, or if somebody is doing problem for you, or not providing the required service, you have the full right to shout on him and take some action.
I do not see the speaker, but I address to you. Let me tell you about my experience. I paid 25,000 rupees. I was in a 5-star hotel with a full family, extended family, and I had to make them wait for an hour. I wanted to shout my lungs out at the manager. I took 2 minutes, calmed myself down, called the manager aside. I said, I have been following up 10 times. I have also yelled in a corner. But after my yelling, nothing happened. But when I took it up sternly with the manager, not by shouting, only then came the solution. I don't know if you'll still be satisfied, but I still stick to the fact that by shouting or by anger, no solution is coming. Even at the bad times, there could be a possibility that you can control your anger. There could be a better way to handle this. Yeah. So let me continue. Yes, this was an example I was quoting. Then there is one more example where one of my friend in Doha told me that his acquaintance was fined in Qatar for spitting out of his car. Yes, I understand the rules here. But it was not just a fine. He was stranded for hours in the police station deliberately. And what did the police do to him? They showed him some videos on cleanliness. They chided him by saying they feel embarrassed to collect such a big fine from that shameless fellow. What can I say? The different kind of lesson. So, my dear friends, have you seen this Rajnikant? You all know Rajnikant, posing in a police uniform and correcting that every brat on the road. Now, when I got this feeling, what Rajnikant has done is nothing. It doesn't work this way, my friends. It doesn't work this way. I had to agree with the Qatar police. I think sometimes this can also connect to the first example. They didn't yell at him in public. They stranded him, showed him, feel embarrassed so that next time he does not do that mistake again. And the 10 people who are listening to this example will never again do any such mistake. So somewhere we have to always think out of the box. Think out of the box. Why? Why? Why not? So to continue, all I can say is yes, we are always in a race, but small things in life we keep forgetting. There is one more mannerism that I notice is we are always in a hurry, be it for a dining, be it for in a shopping mall, be it in the public places or a museum queue, especially the queues. I don't know why everybody is performing jigs with their elbows, mumbling, jostling, pushing people. What race are we going for? What are we aiming for? Even if you stand without pushing people, you are in a queue. But what is that culture we have developed? What is that etiquette we have developed? If you want to reach to the top, you simply cannot push people. So these small mannerisms, what is the point? Why not improve it? This is when I say we, I refer to the entire human race. I do not have to point at any nationality or anything. We know the truth. But overall, these small things embarrass ourselves in public. That makes us think that we are so small. I can.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with Kumaraswamy also. Sometimes if you want to get something the best, for example, if 10 apples are there, there are 15 people, and if you go and take it and you will get it, otherwise you will miss. The 5 people is going to miss. So sometimes you have to be embarrassed to get to the best thing.
Also, I would add here, how would you spread the message of not pushing yourself and waiting in the queue like in Australia or in New Zealand? They just wait in the queue. But can this happen in our community, Asian community?
Okay, I think the first two speakers gave me a question to which Raj has almost poked an answer, which I wanted to say. But I agree with Toastmaster Kumaraswamy and Zina, because I grew up thinking this way. Even I want to push and stand, otherwise somebody else will push me and go ahead. But over a period, as I started visiting, like Raj said, not Australia, but America, after visiting 4 times, especially last time, where we stood in the queue for 1.5 hours in the San Diego Zoo with babies in the hands. There was not one person woofing or pushing another. There was a neat queue maintained. If there is a baby crying, the person moves out of the queue, consoles the baby, and his place is still intact. And here, another point to be noticed is they are also a big democratic country, bigger than India. So that left me pondering, and I used to always discuss this with my friends and family. If they can do it, why can't we do it? Probably it's just a culture which needs to be learned by observing and learning. And at the similar juncture also, I should mention this point that as we visited that country more, my child from the age 6, she picked up an habit of pushing the Lulu supermarket trolley to a designated area. In her absence, I sometimes simply leave it at the parking near my car, but in her presence, I don't do it. I go push it to the designated area and come. These are things that they have learned from somewhere, and they practice it here or India or everywhere. Whether 10, 20 people are doing or not, she will do it. So that's where I meant that if 10, 100 people are not doing it, it's okay. Why not we do it? That's why I said I got some thought-triggering points here. Let's try practicing it. Maybe 1 or 2 will agree with us.
Actually, basically, this is a kind of a self-discipline everyone has to adapt. I mean to say, no organization or any government cannot do anything. It is a self-discipline or a self-culture. I mean to say, it's a responsibility of a citizen has to be adapted.
Yes.
That's what I believe.
Because otherwise we will end up in stampedes. Why are we having stampedes? For the same reason. So saying yes, these are the most important examples that I always argue when I bring this point. To say that, what on earth are we racing for? Probably with a philosophical mind, if you think, even at the top, one day you will definitely feel, have I hurt 10 people? You will feel more regretful than for your victory of sitting at the CEO position. And I'm telling this by my experience. I am not quoting this speech by saying that I'm preaching it to you. I have also done mistakes. I yelled at my gardener one day, for which I don't know why I keep regretting for 5 years. Maybe that poor fellow, how his days must have gone. I didn't want to yell at him. So these small things I wanted to bring out in this form, where I say that, all this knowledge from the white pages don't make us. No, it is mainly, importantly, for man to be a perfect social animal. Attitude may be just a word in the book. It is our inner voice. It is the rule book of life. This is what I'm trying to share with you all. Like I said, I repeat, we all know A plus B is equal to C, but what we want to be is our attitude towards life. And in the end, I would like to quote with this example of Ratan Tata ji or Sudha Murthy ji. If you have seen Mr. Ratan Tata ji kneeling down with his staff and taking a group picture of his company, have you ever done it with your company staff? I tried doing, I could not. I'll sit in the chair. I am profoundly, I like and respect Sudha Murthy. But however possible, I can't be very simple as her. I try to be humble, but I can't be as simple as her. So there we are. Attitude to life is a challenge. It comes by learning, observing, and experiences of life.
Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
To Toastmaster of the day, if not any more questions.
Is there any questions that you want to argue?
The timer is on.
Oh, the red is on. Okay, I think we are through with the speech. It's a lovely
I will
message.
welcome any questions in the chat message if required.
That was a lovely message that you have shared with us. At times in life, yes, we will have to bow down. At times we have to be simple and straight, but then that's a very difficult task, as you yourself have quoted. Change has to come within us, which we all have to strive and work harder. With this message, yes, we are now closing